Crypto week in America has stalled in a big way, and it's probably not what you think. There were some Republicans that did cross and vote no to push these bills through. What is going on here? I have everything that you need to know. I'll catch you up in under 10 minutes. Let's first find out what happened here.
Advance in the House, I believe. Let's get the details from Emily Wilkins. Emily.
Hey, Kelly. So yes, this House was just holding a procedural vote that would have then led to the vote on 3 different crypto bills, and that procedural vote has failed. Now, we should note, of course, here that rule was not just on crypto bills. It was also going to set up a vote on funding for the Defense Department. We're trying to learn a little bit more about why the bill went down, but this definitely puts a wrinkle into House Republicans' plan to have this crypto week where they were going to pass crypto bills. You have to get that process vote in place to actually move on to the other votes. One of the members who did vote against the process, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, actually tweeted a bit this morning, voicing some of her concerns with the bill in relation to a central bank digital currency. She was concerned that the bills did not do enough to prevent that from being created by the U.S. government, saying that more oversight was needed. Of course, we'll be speaking with more of these lawmakers who voted against the bill to better understand their concerns, how many of them had to do with crypto versus defense. But again, this is a huge wrinkle. There were a lot of folks, crypto industry, lawmakers, who were expecting these bills to get done this week. It now looks like Republican leaders might need to go back to the drawing board to figure out how to get this done.
Listen, I won't begin to say that I know everything about politics, but sometimes, when they group a lot of these bills together, you could not like one out of the 5 or 6 bills that are in this package, and you could vote no because you don't like something else, not even to do with crypto regulation. It sounds like the thing holding Marjorie Taylor back and maybe some other Republicans is that they want more anti-CBDC protections, that a CBDC will never be issued here in America. Now, you can pass all of this stuff, but I think future Congresses will, of course, do this eventually. When you're talking about a wholesale CBDC, which is central bank to bank, that would not only make everything a lot cheaper to move value, but it would also bring our payment system into the 21st century. Now, they can use FedNow to do this, and it is a cheaper way, but it's just interesting to see people's thought process and all this. I mean, when you have 95% of the world working on this technology, we should be working on it too. Yes, it might not be the right time for this. And yes, there needs to be protections and safety for citizens to use it, but isn't this the future? Like, shouldn't we be looking on how to keep this safe for all the consumers, as well as, make sure America doesn't fall behind, which we have done the last few years because of the anti-crypto view. Here's Bill Hagerty. This is the gentleman who was a key ally in building the Genius Act. Okay, so it was his bill. It says it's Crypto Week in the House. So this was put out earlier today. July 15th. This will come out on Wednesday. It's Crypto Week in the House, with votes on the Genius Act, Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. We have a historic opportunity to cement America's leadership in digital assets. All 3 bills protect our freedoms, provide regulatory clarity, and promote innovation. So Bill Hagerty, who is another Republican, is saying that these bills do go to help protect and clarify all of these different rules. And so he is a big proponent of this. Sometimes too, in politics, people will vote no to try to get some leverage in allowing for, maybe something to happen in their state. Maybe they get funding, or maybe they're doing something, I'd imagine that this stuff will pass eventually here. They might not just need to combine it with all of this stuff and address these issues one by one. But here, Bill also says here, the Genius Act is landmark bipartisan legislation to regulate stablecoins and bring America's payment system into the 21st century. The Clarity Act fosters innovation and protects consumers by defining market structure, allowing builders to build without regulatory overreach. And the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act would ban Federal Reserve from issuing digital dollars that could surveil our financial transactions. And this is with the Genius Act heading to POTUS's desk at the end of the week. The Senate is committed to finishing the job and passing the digital asset framework built by and for American values. And so what happens next? Like, is this done? Are we screwed? Let's go ahead and get into it. So here's the vote. The procedural vote failed 196 to 223 after a group of conservative Republicans defected, primarily over over disagreements on whether the bills should be combined into one package instead of being passed separately. So this is something that we brought up here just a few minutes ago. Maybe you pass each one individually and not try to group it in with other stuff like the Defense Department spending, because like I'm sure that's a little, weird, right? We spend a lot of money on defense in this country. It's like, I think we spend almost $1 trillion on defense. So it's a big deal. Consequences. Are the bills dead? The bills are not dead. Failing a procedure or rules vote in the House not permanently kill the underlying legislation. It only blocks the bills from the floor consideration at this current time. The House can attempt to bring the same bill back up for another procedural vote, reschedule them for future debate, or modify them in response to the concerns that derailed the current session. The speaker's statement here, Speaker's Mike Johnson, indicated that there will be efforts to revisit the procedural vote, addressing demands by some members to merge the bills into a single comprehensive package. Leadership could try again later, scheduling another rules vote, possibly early or at the same week on further negotiations. So remember, this has been a huge push by Republicans that we're going to pass all of this stuff this week. And now you have a different group or a faction of Republicans saying, not so fast. This doesn't go far enough. So what is going to happen? Time will tell. I'm sure they will get these people into a room, listen to their concerns, and adjust accordingly. If there are any updates to these bills, language-wise, I will keep you updated on this channel, so make sure that you're following. But let's also see what the next steps could be here. Renegotiation. House GOP leadership and bill sponsors are seeking consensus within their caucus, potentially by altering bill structure or merging text as demanded by some of the hardline conservatives. Revote on procedure. Reports suggest House leaders may attempt another procedural vote. Timing remains unclear, but second chances are common in high priority legislation. Future sessions. If consensus is not reached quickly, the crypto bills may be postponed for a later legislative session, possibly following additional negotiations for changes. And it's not unprecedented. It's typical for the House for bills to fail as a procedural or rules vote, yet return the leadership as they regroup and make changes or count votes more carefully. This can take days, weeks, or especially for highly contested legislation. Let me tell you this. The Trump administration has made this a key priority for their administration. This would be a major failure if Republicans can't get together and get this over the line. Remember, they control the Senate, they control the House, and they control the presidency. So this is on them to get it done. I definitely think this is going to be passed. Maybe it does get kicked out a few days or a few weeks. Remember, Congress is going on recess in August. And so I think they were trying to get a lot of this stuff done before that. But let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen. Is this going to be something that we can figure out in a matter of hours or days, right? By Wednesday, when you're watching this, are they already going to have this voted and approved? This could change any second. So understand that I'm recording this on a Tuesday morning here in Hawaii at 10:12 a.m. And this video will come out first thing in the morning, probably before I even wake up. I'll get Cass to put it out. So there are some political dynamics. Let's just address those really quick. The split vote stemmed from intra-party disagreements rather than a broad bipartisan opposition. So it's not Democrats saying, no, we're going to stop this. It's Republican on Republican, issues. So that is a better situation because, they're from the same party. They can get into a room and say, hey, what do we need to make this make sense for you? And they could start bringing people. And then listen, the big, beautiful bill that the Trump administration just passed, all those tax cuts, that was unpopular in some Republican circles, but they managed to get the votes across. I would imagine the same thing is going to happen here. And then here is some other news. Coinbase's chief policy officer says crypto will bring trillions of a demand. This is what I've been telling you, right? I said in a video like 2 days ago. Trillions of dollars are waiting to enter the market. And it's really nice when you have Coinbase's chief policy officer say the same thing I've been telling you.
There are 3 pieces of legislation this week. Genius Act is specifically about stable coins. Ultimately, this is probably the biggest boon for the U.S. government. I wrote about that today. They are buying lots of treasuries already. If this legislation passes and they have to be backed one-to-one with super safe assets, you're talking, what do you think the number is? Upwards of $3-4 trillion in demand for treasury bills over the next decade, possibly?
Yeah, obviously nobody knows, but I think smart people are using trillions as the sort of the ballpark around which they guess what the scale of adoption is going to be of stablecoins. I mean, think about it. Right now, all the payments that we do in the American economy operate under 20th century technology. So we're right on the verge of a payment revolution as a result of the Genius Act. The House will pass it tomorrow. The president will sign it into law probably on Friday. And then we'll see pretty rapid implementation. And for every issuance of a tokenized dollar, $1 will be held in reserves, typically in the form of U.S. Treasuries. So right now, stablecoin issuers around the world are the 16th largest holders of U.S. Treasuries. By some estimations, stablecoin issuers will become the largest holders of stablecoins, bigger than China, bigger than Japan. And I think that's critical at this point of high debt in the U.S. economy.
Wow. Okay, cool. And then here you go. Just a little bit of information on tokenized treasuries. Tokenized treasuries represent traditional U.S. government debt instruments like treasury bills, notes, and bonds in the digital form on blockchain networks. We've been talking about this for years on this channel. It's just so great to understand something to its core and to kind of see the future, because that's what we've actually done here on this channel. If you've been watching me for the last few years, this is all the stuff I've told you 2 years ago. And to see it finally come to fruition, it feels good. It feels like we're right about this. What else are we right about? That's how I start to think. This innovation offers multiple advantages and can significantly benefit U.S. government in managing its debt and improving financial market operations. Improved market efficiencies, you're talking about faster clearing and settlement. T+1, T+2 is now probably T+0, instant day, same settlement. Low transaction costs by eliminating or reducing intermediaries such as brokers or custodians and clearinghouses. The government can lower the friction and the fees associated with issuing traditional trading in debt. Automation through smart contracts programmed into tokenized treasuries automate coupon payments, maturity redemptions, and collateral management, enhancing operational efficiency and reducing administrative burdens. Now, I've always been from the mindset that if the US government decided to buy, a billion XRP or 5 billion XRP from Ripple, and then they issued the treasury market on the XRP ledger, that would send XRP into the thousands of dollars per token, because if you have that much demand, all of a sudden that could get to the US to a place where it could actually start paying down its debt. Now, if we're just going to hold 200,000 Bitcoin, we're going to need Bitcoin to go to like $50 million to even pay down 10 trillion. Looking at other crypto assets might be the best situation here. And I just wish there was people in the room or close to the president that would explain this to him, that there's a real opportunity here outside of Bitcoin, and it comes through Ripple and XRP. Of course, increased accessibility, inclusion, broader investor base. When you're tokenizing treasuries, you could do this. You could buy treasuries from any place on earth. You're talking about global reach. Digital tokens can be traded 24/7, 365 on blockchain platforms with traditional barriers like time zones and geographic restrictions, broadening demand and potentially expanding the pool of treasury buyers worldwide. And I mean, there's so many other benefits, guys. It's really an interesting time to be a part of this. And I think if you're just now joining, or if you've been here for years, you are at the right place at the right time. Now, a couple good decisions here could set you up for the rest of your life. And that's what I'm looking to do as well. I'll see you guys next time. I'm a Crypto Sensei. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.